Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. How's it going? How is it going? See if I can get everything set the right way. Let's see. Nice big crowd today, David. Bridget Taylor? I don't believe I've seen you. So, welcome. Alan, Mark, Anderson, Merle, Don, John, John, PD, Sledge, welcome. Alan, Dex, Donald, Larry, Wrongimer. How's it going in the Tesla world? Kevin, Brian, I don't recognize your name. Welcome. George, Jeremy, Gary, Francois, Craig, Infinity, Cliff, Ted, Anthony, Marizio, Roland, Tim. Good morning, everybody. If you want to chat with me, just like all these fine folks saying good morning, link is right over here. Click the subscribe button, and a few moments later, you will be allowed to chat with me right here on the live stream and ask questions, all the things. Now, interesting stuff happening over quietly in the background here. We had a bank blow up. We had, one bank blew up, and JP Morgan announcing a $40 billion loss quietly in the background. So, somebody said that the banking thing wasn't done yet. I don't know who that might have been, but yeah. So pull this over, share the screen. I mean, here you go, right here. We're seeing Iowa Trust and Savings take over Citizens Bank in Iowa. I mean, that's good news, right? Another bank going under. FDIC took them over on Friday. How many of you heard that in the mainstream media? I had to pull it up off FDIC Gov. I mean, that's not good, right? Another bank blown up. I mean, I guess they blow up all the time, but hey, not good. And yeah, $40 billion in unrealized losses hit JP Morgan as Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup also admit that they have some exposure to treasuries. Yeah. I mean, stuff's going to come to a head at some point here. Yeah, no bueno. I mean, this stuff going on in the background, like it's right there. Yet nobody's talking about it. Also, another statistic for you. I brought this up before that the M2 money supply went negative, and that's like I was doing more research on that. That's the first time it's been negative since 1930s, almost 100 years. And anybody know what happened in the 1930s? So anyway, this is treasuries right here. This is the you know this is money they plunk down in treasuries, and it's not marketable anymore. I've talked about this in my VIP group, my Termire Trading Labs Inner Circle VIP group. Why this is such a problem? When you buy those treasuries and you expect to be able to liquidate them, well, who wants to buy a treasury that's paying 3% when you can go buy a brand new one for 5%? Right? And if you're holding that for collateral, you can't do anything with it until you hold it to maturity at this point. And all of a sudden, that's a liability because you're making less money on that treasury you've got. Like than you could if you could liquidate it and move it to the current interest rate. So anyway, I'm just just pointing it out there. Yeah, I mean, you can't liquidate those. You're sitting on them, and they're a liability now. Like nobody wants to buy them from you. There's no market for them. All of a sudden, they're worth less than the interest rate because nobody wants to take that on. And that's what the mainstream media doesn't tell you, why this is such a problem. Why raising rates was in such a fast manner. And that's why banks are going, like, they had all this collateralized. It was a very liquid situation. You could liquidate treasuries when the rates just fluctuate a little bit. Now, all those treasuries they bought like 2 years ago, they're frozen. Like, you can't move them. Like, you can't liquidate them. You just have to sit on them. They've become illiquid assets and they're underwater because nobody wants to buy them from you. It used to be they traded at a premium because you could buy and sell them and whatever. Now they're depressed in value because nobody wants to have to hold that for 20 years or 10 years or 2 years or whatever it is. I guess 2 years would have expired already, but 5 years, 10 years, they're a liability to hold on your books. So that's what nobody's telling you about this. And I don't think we've seen the end of it. Now, if rates drop back, these ones that were written at 5%, they're going to be hot commodities, So anyway, I mean, you could liquidate it at a loss, but we're talking about $40 billion right there. And then, there's apparently trillions of these treasuries written. So anyway, Bitcoin still spicy. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss, though. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. I may never get something right again. All right. Just because I got it right in the past, I mean, let's be honest, I may not get it right again. But this presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. All right. Don't buy stocks. Don't buy options. Don't buy futures. Don't buy cryptos. Don't buy Forex. Don't buy any of that stuff. Don't sell it. Don't buy stuff from gurus. Don't buy perfect whatever trades. Don't, nobody has the goose that laid the golden egg, all right? And if you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor that's got a fiduciary duty to take care of you and has all the certifications for that. That's not me. I'm not advising you to do anything, all right? I'm just entertaining. So, pointing out some stuff. I'm just a guy who has done pretty good in the market, trying to help other people like you, cut through the bull crap. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of bullshit out there, and it's difficult. It's really difficult to see through all the bullarchy out there. I mean, come on. And S&P came up right to a danger zone. Those prior highs right there. Right there. Let's get rid of that little arrow. Those we're right into the danger zone. Now, if we glance off of this right here, we pop up, hit it, and glance down, we could go lower low. And that lower low could be lower than we did October last year. Getting to be 13 months ago at this point. That's a big thing I'm watching. Now, if we can bust up through the key resistance, that's awesome. Also, we may see a pullback off of where we've gotten to. Since we consolidated right there for a couple of days, like a week, really. If we pull back off of here, we may come back to the roadmap line. Fully kind of expecting that. If we hold the roadmap line, probably going higher. If we break down below this 4275 area, caution, caution, caution. I've got an alert there for a reason, because it looks like we may go back to the low or go lower low at this point. So it could also mean we're going to play out where we make a higher low, a higher high in this zone, and then do this over this baby over here. This may extend out. We may, if we break down below that 4275 area, we may come down here, do a maybe 618 retrace. Look at that, perfect. Then do this, which would be an extension of this first move right here. Copy that over. Everything's the same color, right up in that zone. And then that. Watch out for this, all right? If we break below 4275 and we turn right here, big caution, because that next up is probably the high we're going to have for a while. And this could take us through the end of the year. So, we've gotten to the point where it's time for caution, all right? If we break below that 4275, do a 618 retrace. Even if we push a little higher today, it just pulls that level up just a hair. Still the same zone. If we do that, be careful. It may be a head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders that fails. All right, maybe one of these where you see the head and shoulders forming, looks like it's going to work, and then it fails. So be careful. All right, this is a very treacherous zone. Very, very treacherous. I would not be overly bullish. I would not be overly bearish. We need to resolve this. Now, this could easily be a setup to go higher. I'm super cautious right now, though. Super, super cautious. If we outperformed and actually broke out higher than the high we had back here, everything's cool. But if we turn down in that key resistance zone, whew, be careful. All right, we can go lower low. So there you go. I'm going to move everything over just a hair. That's what we got. That's what we're staring down the barrel of. Now, Bitcoin holding up really well. It tagged that 36 area. We keep holding up really well. We're not getting the deep retrace. And we could retrace back to the breakout point. Back around 31, possibly even down to 30. Go retest that. We could. Or we can just hang out right here and then push up to 43. And that's all just based off of this back here. We have other levels that, and we came up and hit that 618 level. We may push on out. We might. There'll be probably resistance around 40, then 42, 43. If we're going to do that, I do fully expect a pullback before the halving event. The halving event coming up right out here in March, April. That, that's cool. Let's go with Bitcoin halving, halving.com. There we go. Right here. This is Bitcoin Magazine. Put up this cool site. We got about 24,000 blocks remaining until 840,000. Give them numbers. Anyway, about 165 days, roughly, estimated. We get a block every 10 minutes, roughly. Sometimes a little shorter, sometimes a little longer. It's not fixed. The closer we get, the closer this will be. And current price of Bitcoin, 35,151 off of whichever exchange. And if you want to come enter, you can enter. Like, doesn't matter to me. I guess nitrobetting.eu is giving away 1 Bitcoin if you guess the price. You get the closest price to the halving price. Price of Bitcoin at the halving. So why does it want to dive again? It's the pattern. We touched the roadmap line. We came up, hit the 1272. I would fully expect it to touch the roadmap line one more time. Now we can just hold the 100 and then go on up, it's the patterns, same patterns I always discuss. We either do this and go higher, or we turn sideways and then go higher, or we get the retrace. It's kind of like the 3 main options. We either go retrace back to the 100, up to the 1618, kind of hang out sideways at the 1272, then pop the 1618, or we tend to retrace. And look at the smaller pullback off of this high to this low. We're already sitting at that 1618. We kind of already bounced down to the 1272. We just popped right on through the 1272, right to the 1618, kind of hovering. We could pop on up. The higher up the fib ladder we go, the more likely it is we get a deep retrace before we can go higher. It's like once we get above the 618, we're 70% likely to go to the 1272. We're like 40% likely to get to here. It's like 20% dropping on down to like 10%, 15%, down to like, now we're down to like 5% chance, 1% chance, and then like a 686 is like less than 1% chance that we will just go straight up there without getting a substantial retrace back to the roadmap line. Yeah. So same options every time on every stock. I mean, it's the same pattern all the time. This is just price action. You know, same pattern, same. It doesn't matter what chart we're looking at, as long as we have some price and volume. These are the same patterns. And believe it or not, we do this as, you know, humans. Like, we're a herd type animal. We subconsciously do these patterns over and over, and they don't always work, but you know, a vast majority of the time, this is how I get this crap right. I mean, it freaked me out once I started figuring it out. That's how I made $1 million back in, you know, 2020 COVID times. I was on the right place, right time, set my target exactly where price went to, and made a crap load of money. Now, if we're looking at the big crash scenario in the S&P, believe me, I will be beating the drum on that opportunity. So the market just opened, and let's talk about what's actually moving today. S5FI, probably coming right back up to the top. I mean, it did the higher low. That was, everything's going according to plan. We're probably going to come right out the top. We may get a little retrace in here. You know, it doesn't usually just pop. I mean, sometimes it pops all the way up, but usually we get some little retraces in here. So I do expect a little retrace before we get all the way up out of the 80. I mean, just, you go back in time and look. I mean, we don't usually just pop all the way up without getting some sort of little retrace in there. It just doesn't, I mean, the market tends to do a similar thing to what it's done before. And we were down here, and I kind of expect it to come up out of the top. PKX, let's go look at that chart. Popped above my level, maybe on the path. That's a measured bounce set up to potentially come all the way up here around 300. Maybe 3 times your money. I may circle back and buy a few shares of that just to see after I get back to my desk. Anyway, ES, right in the danger zone. Watch for the retrace. We need to break out above these highs, then above this high. And we could be setting up another inverse head and shoulders thing in here. Watch for this thing to fill out here. I guess you could put that on up a little bit, maybe. Doesn't have to be that high. Yeah, watch for this thing to shape up. We could either do it or we could fail it, so watch out for that shaping up in the S&P. This is the futures chart. Because why futures? Because it trades 24.5, 23.5, I should say. We had all this overnight action that doesn't show up in the cash index. Get my words right. Golly, words. NASDAQ also showing pretty strong. Pretty strong, my friends. This, if you wanted to, you know, ES is S&P 5, SPX, SPY, all the S&P 500 things. That's the futures for it. NQ, futures for NASDAQ. That's QQQ, all the QQQ derivatives. We still have this big downtrend cooking. We have not broken the downtrend. Be careful. It shows up on QQQ also. Big downtrend, still below it. You know, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 6th attempt. Been a pretty strong downtrend. Keep your eye on that level. I've got an alert right there at 371.70 roughly. If we can break above it, that's positive. If not, hey Leah, morning. Hey, you don't gotta apologize to me being late. You can always just pull the bar on YouTube. Just pull the bar back and you can rewind it, and then you can play it at like 2x and catch back up. Anyway, or you can just watch it after I'm done. Russell showing a very nice, strong bounce off the low. I mean, look at that. That monster is going. We do have resistance at the roadmap line above us. If we get a 5 up here in the small time frame stuff, you know, this is IWM, if you're unfamiliar. If this is a wave 4 retrace in here, we may 1, 2, 3, we may get a little retrace in here back to the roadmap line maybe. If we can do that, and then get a higher high and then go for a bigger retrace, that sets up the market to go higher. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on the Russell for a bullish potential setup and reversal. Like I've said many times in the past, the small caps tend to lead us out of corrections. So this may be indicating that the market's about to go full bull, but we got some more stuff to prove. We're not quite there yet on the pattern. So keeping an eye on that. IWM is, you know, kind of gappy. You can see the gaps in here. You could look at the overnight action a little bit on this one, but we may get that retrace that holds back in this area around 170, and then a turn up, new high, and then a bigger retrace. So this one's got a little bit of stuff to work through before we go higher, and keeping an eye on it. Definitely keeping an eye on it. Oil, this is getting interesting. I did not buy a position yet, but I am certainly thinking about it. I thought about it on Friday. This is holding right where I thought it would hold. We got the lower low. This might be it. This might be, that might be the low for now. We may go to $100 oil, 98, 103. Next target's up. Well, let's clean that up just a hair. Yeah, 98, 103, still the same. And could go as high as 150. Maybe like, what the fudge are you talking about? Well, look, once we break above 104, the same pattern all the time, right? 104 is, 104, roughly 105 is the key resistance right there. We get above that, 70% likely to do the 1272 at 148. It's $150 oil. We pop up there, could retrace back to 130, and then see a rapid appreciation up to 170. Yeah, that's in the charts. And, we were at 130 just March 2022. All right, it's not like it's been 20 years since we've seen $150 oil, like wherever it was back here. $130 oil. And back in 08, this looks a lot the same to me. We could be working toward a big problem here. So, yeah, I mean, you can say it's because of cuts or whatever. I'm just telling you the price pattern. It's on the price. Like the price pattern's here. All right. Don't be surprised. We top out possibly 150. We get a retrace back to 130. Then we top out 170. And this could take a little while. I mean, we could be talking about 25, 26, maybe. Be doing it way over here. But it's been on the chart since, I mean, it kind of firmed it up back here in May. And now it's on the chart. Yeah, Everett, if you're on here, you can speak to my incredibly accurate turning prices in oil. I mean, how did I know it was going to bounce off that and then come right down here? I mean, why do we pull back if there's such demand for oil and Russia and Saudi doing all these cuts, right? I mean, it's just price action, people. It has nothing to do with Russia, nothing to do with Saudi, nothing to do with US, nothing to do with Canada. It's all humans doing this. All right, we're pushing these prices. If you can decouple your mind from the news and the story and just look at the price, you're going to do way better in the market. I'm telling you. It's crazy once you realize that none of the news matters. You can doubt me all you want, but that's how I get this crap right over and over and over. I mean, this is how I do it. It's the price action. It has nothing to do with the news. It really messes with you. Like, you really have to do some soul searching when you realize that the price has nothing to do with any news out there. There's just a few news events. Going bankrupt. That matters. All right. New drugs for the FDA. That matters. Getting denied your drug from the FDA. That matters. That's why biotech and medtech is off my list. All right. Like, I don't trade that crap. Most of the stuff that we hear, Apple announces blah, 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 and it should go up. It doesn't do it. All right. Just be careful out there. GC, Still hovering. Still hovering. We're so close to breaking out. If we can break out above that 220, game on for going higher. Just consolidating. This reminds me a lot of Bitcoin. We may be about to pop both of those. Bitcoin already mentioned. Ethereum. Hey, breaking above the downtrend. Maybe I'm glad I didn't sell my 2 Ethereum. I was going to liquidate 2 of them. Next target. Right up there. 2,300. And that's the 1272. 2,300. Probably retrace and then get the extension to 2,500. That's the 2 most likely prices to hit. There you go. Yeah, UCO is usually the way I play oil. It's not the exclusive way I play oil, but I usually play UCO or SCO. UCO. It's a leveraged. Yeah, leverage. Be careful. Doesn't always follow patterns. Leverage. Leverage highly dangerous. And SCO for the shorts, but I don't tend to short things that much. So, and this one kind of decaying, so not awesome. We're looking at higher prices, not shorter, not lower prices. So, and USO is a reasonable way to play it. I mean, they did split it and messed up the pattern a little bit, but there you go. The USO, another way to play. I find that the UCO for my dollar used tends to return a little better. And they did split this one too, 4 for 1 back here. So your mileage may vary. YMMV. Anyway, dollar looking like we're going back to the roadmap line. Tried one last attempt, couldn't break out. Right back to the roadmap line. If we can't hold that, going on down. 96, I think, is the target. I got lots of fib lines on here, but I think 96, yeah, 96 is my big target back here. 96, 97. Probably if we don't hold the roadmap line, we're probably heading down here. We can find a little support, resistance there. I mean, support, support and resistance. We may break below, come back, retest it before we do this. And it could take a while. This could take a good long time. I mean, that was a 50% retrace, and we could be working on this guy. Takes us down to 92. And that could be all the way out in 24, 25, 26. Could take a good long time. All right, stuff moving today. Look at this mother trucker. I mean, holy. You know what I've said about bubble stuff before. You could practically print money short in this, baby, I bet. I bet you can't afford a put, but if you could short that, I mean, there's like a high percent chance that this is coming back into the $15 to $20 area at some point. Haven't seen one of these yet that just took off and kept on going to the moon. Be careful. Be careful. I mean, why would auto parts? There's just no way. No way. BHV. There's another ridiculous one. Look at that. Blue green vacation holding. Is that a buyout or something? Double on sale to Hilton. Yeah. That's a buyout. So that one's not coming back unless the deal falls through. PKX. Now that one already popped up. I already kind of talked about it. The potential is huge. That's a measured bounce. That's the entry. Now we do have resistance. If you look at the smaller time frame there, we've got the resistance at 107, which we're still below, and then intermediate resistance going higher at 145, 166. But the bigger measured bounce pattern, and we may see this like ching, 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 and at least the minimum target up here is like 276. If this thing really plays out, could be up here as high as 390 or even 615. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But look how far up it went already. It went from 35 up here to 132. Did the 618 retrace, already bouncing. I might just buy a few shares just to see. Now, you would definitely put a stop like right down here around 65 for now and let it ride. And it's likely to stop trading a bunch. That's a ridiculous move. That's a big drop. It's probably going to stop trading a bunch. I mean, I'm not talking about it's coming back today. I'm talking about like it may be, I don't know, a couple months. It could be fast, but it's probably likely next month, maybe January, February. I don't know. It's likely to come back down in here at some point. I've seen this pattern over and over. I mean, Tilray took a couple of years to get back down. GME took a while to get back down. All these SPACs, this is a special acquisition, whatever, SPAC, special purpose acquisition corporation. They almost all come right back down. Now, very few of them will trade up here and actually start trading up here, but highly unlikely that we just pop and keep going. Highly, highly unlikely. When the deals of this buyout or public whatever actually get going, things tend to correct back. There's lots of weird stuff on the list this morning. CDLX Therapeutics, that's a biotech. Be careful. A med tech specialty. I mean, just be careful on all the med tech stuff. That's FDA junk. And that FDA is a wild card. I don't like to put my money in that. All right, airlines, Raynar. I threw something to Goose. I think they were the 4th largest airline by passengers in the world, something like that. Resistance there. We get above 105, could be up to 119 or 127. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. We didn't quite make it down to, and we may turn down here at this 618 and come down in this zone. That may be, watch out for that. How do you know if that's happening? Well, if we don't break above this, then that's probably happening. And there is a gap right there. That's resistance. See, Celsius, important earnings today. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Yeah, we got another big week of earnings. Let me pull that up. That reminds me. Let me pull it off of Discord, which I pulled off of X, of course. The earnings whisperer thing for this week. There's about 1,000 companies, most of them smaller, reporting earnings this week, and got some, BRK.B coming in here, BAM, Dish, BioNTech, Realty Income, one of Goose's favorites after the close, HIMS, NXPI. Then tomorrow morning before the open, we have Uber, Celsius, that's it, Datadog, DR Horton. They've been building a lot of crap here. Melco, I mean, you can see the list. RIVN tomorrow after the close. We can talk about some of these during the 30 Minutes of Awesome tomorrow at 5 p.m. And before the open Wednesday, Roblox, Fisker, Warner Brothers. I mean, some interesting stuff in here. Under Armour, got AMC, Walt Disney, Twilio, some entertainment, Marathon Digital. That's Bitcoin miner right there. Affirm, Duolingo, LI. Another, Chinese electric BEV company, battery electric vehicle. Fiverr, Yeti, Tapestry, Plug, Unity. Yeah, Unity, a few people have been really interested in Unity lately. It just kind of hums along. Trade Desk. We also have the NASDAQ rebalancing coming up. I'll pull up some data and talk about that more later maybe. But lots of interesting little smaller companies reporting earnings today. Like I said, there's like 1,000 of them this week overall. Might be the biggest week just company wise, but certainly not market cap wise. Not a lot of big names in there, but there are a lot of names in there. So Celsius looking like we might break out here. 220, 240 on the upside, and potentially up here 324 on the bigger pattern. So FRPT, fresh pet. They make that they make the it's not pet food. Yeah, it is pet food. You keep pet food in your fridge? Anyway, I remember the commercials now. I was like, when I put it on the list earlier, I was like, fresh pet. Why do I know that name? Looks like it's rejecting the 618. Be careful. That can result in a lower, move lower. Look at that. Got it. Perfect. Could come down here, 47. If that rejects, if we can get above that, starts tilting the odds that we're going up to 91, possibly 101. Same pattern all the time. MSTR. That one's working. 532, 616. That's the targets. Beautiful. Market roadmap bounce. Tesla. Still holding in there. Now, is this doing the market roadmap line retest and then we go deeper, or can we get above the resistance and go on up to the 350 target? I don't know. It's the big question. The big question. Like, did we just... I keep being optimistic on the timeline here, and it keeps proving that it takes longer to do everything I predict it's going to do. I mean, I drew this over here. We did it over here. We did the retrace over here. And then I thought we would, break on out and go, but no, it's continuing to consolidate. It may get a little deeper before we break on out. I mean, the way I've been rolling, this didn't happen for, let's see, I predicted it would do it in July. Didn't do it till August. So a month later, kind of predicted November. So it could be December or January. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't have to, like, if we break support or something like that, it doesn't have to do the move to 350 either. BNTX, another, that one, reporting earnings, beaten. Well, that wasn't too bad. Made money instead of lost money, and then, made more revenue than estimated. Not too bad. Still a biotech, and still has a target down here that it may go visit. If the mRNA vaccines get slammed down and outlawed, this one and Moderna might both go to zero. That's why I say, like, the FDA can just, like, ruin your parade if you're in biotech or pharma. EWY. Man, that's a crazy looking chart. If we hold that, break above the level right there. The level's right there. We break above that, 64. Could be going to 71 or 76 if playing South Korea is something you want to do. CRSP. Another biotech pharma. And that moved the whole fib line instead of just the point. Yeah, resistance right up in there where it's been. Nothing. LI. Man, that one could be a market roadmap bounce. Resistance right up here. Does have earnings coming up on Wednesday. Move up through 42. Could set it for 51, 56. And if we reject that 618 level, watch out. SRPT. More biotech pharma. Be careful in that stuff. PDD. Wow, look at that. Right off the resistance. Next target, 116, 121. FUTU. Definitely hit some resistance there. If it can break above these two highs right here and get going, probably going up to 81, maybe 93. MLTX. That's another biotech pharma. Lots of these show up on Mondays. Oh, might go fill that gap. Doesn't always follow the patterns though. Be careful. Got support down to 25. TGLS. That looks pretty bad. That's like, it's getting to be borderline dumpster fire here. That was 5 up. I expect that to retrace. Yep, it's right at the retrace point. If we get below this, watch out below. This is like the extreme retrace. If we can turn and break above the roadmap line now, going on up. What does on up mean? Probably, this is a measured bounce type setup. So that would mean like 100. So 1, 2, 3. Be right up here. Possibly as high as 200. Yeah, that could be a buy some shares. Shoot. But I wouldn't do it till we broke above here. Miss an alert. It's actually got my attention. This is a nice potential. Yeah. As some of the regular viewers know, anything that gets my attention, you ought to consider at least keeping an eye on it. Sometimes they make big money, right? Hilton, whichever one they was up here, they were buying out. Hilton obviously not reacting so well. Yeah, this actually looks corrective, and down. May drop on down to this $30 area right down here. Anyway, there you go. There's the it's kind of the list of what was moving pre-markets. Expectation for the day, highly cautious. I think we could get a retrace back into that zone I was talking about. We may go revisit the roadmap line. Would not surprise me one bit to see a retrace back down to 4,300-ish. Hold that, then push up through the key resistance. That would be beautiful. We may just run on up into the key resistance and pull back. We're in a treacherous zone. Treacherous zone. Now looking at let's zoom this up just a hair. I know I got lots of crap drawn on here, but it's to remind me of things. So right there, look, we're in the resistance zone. Friday we couldn't get in there. See these tails? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that one couldn't even muster it. 6, and we just gapped down there. This is a key resistance for S&P. And then the bigger key resistance, the bigger time frame is right up there, just above that. So we kept not getting into that key resistance. So there is I guess this is a resistance, and then the key resistance is just sitting above that. Then we're gonna have to clear. So I'll be in Discord all day, on and off. I do have a sales thing at 1 o'clock talking about my 8-day monthly trade on crypto. If that interests you, come visit me. I'll be on with Lance Ippolito. He's got some questions for me. So come check that out. If you got a text or a email or anything like that about it, I'll throw the link in Discord. Otherwise, have a great day, everybody. I'll see you again soon. Be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you later.